All right. I know this is a couple days late, but nonetheless, guys, I did watch Monday Night Raw this week and I do want to talk about it. So here we are with my summary and analysis of the July 16th Monday Night Raw. I had to double check, it's been a couple days. I'm not going to lie, I got College Football 25 to blame for this late review, but it's not going to happen again. I just got really excited, been working the online dynasty with my homies. It's been a pain in the butt to rebuild Air Force, but nonetheless, I have been watching wrestling, just getting in front of this camera and talking about it. I'm not going to lie, college football's made that a little challenging, as well as some other things going on. But nonetheless, guys, we're here to talk about Raw, so let's do it. We started off with Rhea Ripley, who actually made her long awaited return last week. It seems like just yesterday she vanquished the championship and left to recover from injury. But now she's back just in time for SummerSlam. And that's what gets set up here, excuse me. Rhea Ripley challenges Liv Morgan formally to a match at SummerSlam for the Women's World Championship, and Liv Morgan accepts. And Dominic Mysterio attempts to explain himself to Rhea Ripley, and Rhea Ripley doesn't exactly give in to this. To be fair, Dominic Mysterio did everything he can to not engage in Liv Morgan's antics over the past few months. He did better than any of us would have if we were in his shoes. I do have to admit that. Nonetheless, man, Rhea Ripley is not happy with him. Next, we ended up having our first match of the night. We had, surprisingly, Sheamus defeat Big Bronson Reed. This is cool to see Sheamus get the win, but ultimately it's a reflection of the fact that they don't have too much for Big Bronson Reed right now, which is okay. You can't push everybody. Somebody's got to take the short end of the stick sometimes. And Bronson Reed still has a lot of gas in the tank left, theoretically. So if he's not shining today getting W's, who's to say that he won't be shining tomorrow getting W's? Nonetheless, man, Sheamus defeats Big Bronson Reed and is surprised by the return of Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne has been around, but he's spent a lot of time in NXT as of recent. However, Tyler Bate has a serious injury which took him off of TV, which means Pete Dunne is back on Monday Night Raw, and he actually ends up turning on Sheamus. And it looks like we're heading for a big feud between Pete Dunne and Sheamus. I couldn't be more excited for this, guys. Pete Dunne is a fantastic pro wrestler and I'm really excited to see his Monday Night Raw singles run. And dare I say, I would love WWE to build up Pete Dunne and have Pete Dunne dethrone Sami Zayn for that Intercontinental Championship. I would love to see it. That's not going to happen anytime soon, but if you take the next between 5 to 8 to 9 months to build up Pete Dunne and have him dethrone Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship, I think that will be awesome. And it looks like we're getting heel Pete Dunne, and he's going to have a high caliber feud with Sheamus on Monday Night Raw. Say less. I'm in 100%. Next, man, we actually had Sonya Deville delete. We had Sonya Deville defeat Zelina Vega. And not only did she defeat Zelina Vega, but she had some help as Sonya Deville has recently come back and aligned with Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler. So now we have this trio going on the Raw Women's Division, and they actually went ahead and injured Zelina Vega's arm. I don't know if this is story. It's the move looked pretty nasty. I'm sure it hurt like hell. What they did to Zelina Vega's arm, staged or real, it looked like it hurt. I don't want to take that. I wouldn't want that happening to me. Nonetheless, man, it looks like Sonya Deville, Zoe Stark, and Shayna Baszler are here to stay. And that was reflected later in the night as Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark defeated Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. Looks like all three of these women are a force to be reckoned with here. And I think they actually look really good together. I think Sonya Deville aligned with Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler. They look like three badass women. Like they're gonna kick your ass, really. So I think, I'm not the biggest fan of people just getting thrown together, but this, for what it is, actually feels surprisingly natural. And I got to tip my hat off to Triple H and company because every single tag team slash faction that they've put together which isn't too many, but nonetheless is a couple, has felt really genuine and natural, even though they know that they're just putting two people, three people together that would benefit from being a tag team or a faction. Nonetheless, man, watch out for these ladies on Monday nights. Next, we have more Judgment Day business as Damian Priest comes face to face with Gunther in an exchange of words before his match. And they're really playing off of Gunther being this elegant, privileged man, and Damian Priest kind of being this proud, fight for everything he's got in life type of guy. I mean, Damian Priest is definitely taking the babyface approach here, as Gunther is taking the heel approach here, and that was expected. But they're doing a good job. Real quick, let's talk about Judgment Day. It's interesting because you got JD and Finn, who are clearly heels. You got Dirty Dominic Mysterio, who is clearly a heel. And then when you have Rhea Ripley, it seems like she's a babyface, especially when you compare her to Liv Morgan, who she will be having a high caliber match with soon. And then Damian Priest has been fighting nothing but heels. So it's like Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley are baby faces, and everyone else in Judgment Day is a heel. It seems like something's gonna happen soon. Something's gonna happen. I think there's gonna be a new Judgment Day 2.0. I think Rhea Ripley's gonna be on her own. I think Damian Priest is gonna be on his own. And yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. You never know, because I'm predicting this right now, but they might just surprise us and make them all heels or make them all baby faces. I don't know. We'll find out, but there's definitely tension in the Judgment Day, and it seems like Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest in particular are carving out their own paths while everyone else is staying as a heel. We'll see what happens. Nonetheless, after this nice exchange of words with Damian Priest and Gunther, Damian Priest goes right into his match with Braun Strowman, which was an excellent TV match for the World Heavyweight Champion. I think these are two guys that can work really well together, and they did. They really did, as Damian Priest defeats Braun Strowman and gets an impressive victory for the World Heavyweight Champion. And I'm very excited to see Damian Priest versus Gunther at SummerSlam for the World Heavyweight title as well. So good stuff here, man. Damian Priest going back to back on segments here. One is a match, one is a promo. Man, he's just getting reps, which is good. I know he's not. I don't want to talk bad about Damian Priest, but I know he makes mistakes, but he does his best, and his best is pretty damn solid. He's still a fantastic wrestler. So for him to go ahead on Monday Night Raw and do back to back segment to match, I think that's awesome. I think that's great. Next, man, we have Adam Pearce and Drew McIntyre in the ring. And Adam Pearce is basically saying, like, hey, Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk is best for business, man. I want to make it happen. But in order to make that happen, I want you to apologize to these referees. Will you apologize to these referees that you hurt at your meltdown during Money in the Bank? And we can go ahead and we can move on. We can get this match booked and we can move on. And Drew McIntyre simply refuses to apologize to the WWE referees for hurting them. Hilarious. Stubborn heel Drew McIntyre. I think Drew's doing some of the best work of his career. It's fantastic, if not the best work of his career. And then out of nowhere, we actually have Seth freaking Rollins come out and have a bit of a confrontation with Drew McIntyre. This is interesting, man, because we got CM Punk, who hates Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. We got Drew McIntyre that hates Seth Rollins and CM Punk. And we got Seth Rollins who hates Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. I think I said that right. All three of these guys hate each other. It's looking like we're going to lead towards a triple threat match. And for the first time, this is going to be a blood feud triple threat match. Like when you see a triple threat match on television or on a premium live event, it doesn't have this much heat behind it normally. This is a rare occasion where it's three dudes that equally hate each other. It's like the Spider-Man meme where they're all pointing at each other. Like this is such a unique situation. They can go any way about it. They can have a ton of matches. They could go Rollins McIntyre, Rollins Punk, right? And then the triple threat itself, as well as Punk McIntyre. That's four matches right there. That's four matches that you can have out of any, that's four combinations right here between this hate triangle, if you will. So I'm really excited to see what they build towards SummerSlam. I'm really excited to see what they build towards SummerSlam is what I meant to say. Let me not ruin the clip here. Um, yeah, is it going to be a triple threat? Are we going to see CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre? Um, we'll see, man. We'll see. They got months and months and months to just tell an intricate story here with these guys. Next on Monday Night Raw, we actually have we have them play one of the tapes from the Wyatt Six, and it's one of those interviews again, as Bo Dallas was being interviewed in the past episodes of Raw by Uncle Howdy, his alter ego. Now it's Eric Rowan who's being interviewed, and this is where it starts to get real cool because Eric Rowan is being so genuine, so real in what is a very gimmicky, paranormal esque situation that they're doing with the Wyatt Six here, you are actually able to see some realness in it as Eric Rowan is explaining the pain he felt at the loss of Bray Wyatt. So it's real interesting to see them blend this like super fictitious paranormal gimmick that Bray Wyatt used to always do, and then also allow Eric Rowan to pour out his real emotions here and just let each member of the Wyatt Six explain what they're doing here, why they're doing what they're doing, basically explaining to the audience why this faction is coming into play, explaining what their intentions are, what their themes are, explaining their pain for the loss of Bray Wyatt and how that is motivating them to be a faction on Monday Night Raw and put some of the best work together that any of them have ever done on the WWE programming. So it really clicked with me like this Aaron Rowan segment where he's in tears and explaining the pain of losing Bray Wyatt that ultimately we all felt to a certain extent. So I couldn't be behind this more, guys. This really went over for me. Like the Wyatt Six was already so over in my opinion. It just went from a 10 to an 11 or 12. Like I'm not kidding you guys. Like this stuff is going to be awesome. Next, we actually had Chad Gable come out and call out Bo Dallas like he said he was going to do. Chad Gable was seen in a backstage segment with his original family, that is, or not family, but faction, that is Akira Tozawa, Otis, and Maxine Dupree. And they are not willing to back up Chad Gable as he's being haunted by the new Wyatt Six faction. But you know who is willing to back up Chad Gable? The Creed brothers. We established a new faction on Monday Night Raw as Brutus Creed and Julius Creed help Chad Gable beat on Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas just gets his ass kicked by these three dudes, this newly formed faction, before things get all paranoia. Before things get all paranormal, is what I meant to say. And the Wyatt Six members come out to save Bo Dallas, essentially. Yeah, man, good stuff with this Wyatt Six stuff. And in the midst of it, we pair Chad Gable up with the Creed brothers, who couldn't be more of a perfect fit. This is going to be awesome, guys. We are leading to some really good stuff. Looks like the Wyatt Six and I don't know what the Creed brothers and Chad Gable are going to call themselves, but it looks like we're going to get some six-man tag action here soon. We'll see how it goes, guys. I'm very freaking excited. I'm very excited. We have two more matches here. The penultimate main event here, the second to last match of this episode of Monday Night Raw, is Dirty Dominic Mysterio versus main event Jey Uso. As you know, we had some chemistry going on between main event Jey Uso and Rhea Ripley, surprisingly. So Damian Priest earlier in the night in a backstage segment convinces Dirty Dominic Mysterio to go ask Adam Pearce to put him in a match against main event Jey Uso for Rhea Ripley, right? So here we are. And of course, even though Rhea Ripley's back, Liv Morgan is still coming out to interfere with Dom's matches. And of course, every time she tries to help him win, she ends up making him lose. This is the same situation here, man. As Dominic ends up falling to the floor and somehow falling on top of Rhea Ripley, and then not Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, And then Liv Morgan ends up on Dirty Dom. That cues Rhea Ripley to come out here. Nonetheless, all this distraction, all these women in Dirty Dom's life leads to him losing this match against main event Jey Uso. Yeah, I know I didn't explain that too well. Sorry, guys. It's really late. But yeah, main event Jey Uso gets the win over Dirty Dominic Mysterio as Dirty Dom is just way too distracted by Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley trying to trying to keep Liv Morgan off of Dirty Dom. This is a crazy love triangle. I don't even know if I want to call it a love triangle. This is just madness every week. Very enjoyable though. Just wild AF. Wild AF is like the best way to explain this Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Dirty Dom stuff that's going on. Nonetheless, guys, we finally get to our main event, which is what got me to watch this episode of Monday Night Raw in the first place, and that is Sami Zayn defending the Intercontinental Championship against Ilya Dragunov, which is an Intercontinental Championship match at its finest on paper. But this is a Monday Night Raw main event that was unfortunately squashed and squandered by Braun Breaker, who was still pissed off that he lost to Sami Zayn. Braun Breaker ruins this Monday Night Raw main event and ruins Ilya Dragunov's chances of winning the Intercontinental Championship as he beats down both guys as the screen fades to black and we close out this 3-hour episode of Monday Night Raw. Yeah, we got a lot going on. We got a lot of moving parts right now, and we're on the road to SummerSlam. So I feel like these next 2 episodes of Monday Night Raw are going to be very important because they're going to lead us right into SummerSlam. There's still a lot of stuff up in the air in terms of Chad Gable and the Wyatt Six, in terms of the Judgment Day, Dirty Dom and Liv Morgan, and also in terms of that Intercontinental Championship picture. So there's just so much stuff going on Monday Night Raw right now, but it should become a lot more clear within the next 2 weeks leading into SummerSlam. Nonetheless, guys, this was a solid show. WWE is simply on another level right now. This was an enjoyable 3 hours of Monday Night Raw, and pretty much every segment hit. It feels like the potential is limitless, and they're building to a lot new things. It feels like we're in the beginning of a big new chapter that WWE is crafting, right? It feels like SummerSlam is where things start sometimes, and then they build all the way into WrestleMania. That's how I see this going. And yeah, just a good episode of Monday Night Raw. I'm going to get out of here because I'm rambling. Peace out.